Can't believe I'm saying that. That's probably way too much common sense for the political climate of 2025, but
There's a lot of things I want to comment on tonight, but mostly I'm embarrassed that I didn't get to talking about. So I posted a video yesterday. Turns out I posted it twice, but I'll keep it. And but it was made 2 days ago, and I pressed post 2 days ago, but it took overnight plus a while to actually post that video. Those two videos that are the same video but with different titles. And I thought, I like that. Sometimes I post two different videos with the same title, and sometimes I post the same video twice with different titles. I like that. A title is a crystallization. Every video makes many crystals. So, the main point of this video is to show my new way of multiplying. It's new to me. It's easier, even though it takes more physical work, but it takes less brain work. And we underestimate how many calories and nutrients, minerals, vitamins, amino acids, etc., like white blood cells, like we underestimate how much of like the brain is a fluid system. Our brain carves out salinities. Right. Like our brain, one of the things people, I love how like Aristotle thought about the brain. And we can talk about how in ancient days the brain was thought of as a blood cooling system. But think about it. If you're a philosopher living in the Mediterranean, what is the head? What is the brain? It is actually like, and I actually don't know, like so many things are attributed to Plato that aren't of Plato. And there are so many things attributed to Aristotle that are not Aristotelian. And there are so many things that were said to me by my teachers when I was a young man that now I have found are untrue, or if they are true, they are unpopular perspectives, facts. I'm already like 10,000 miles off the point. The point of the video was to show my new way of calculation by hand of large numbers. It's very novel, unnecessary to most people these days, but so there's that. But I've also been distracted by the concept of radical transparency. We will only be saved when we commit ourselves to radical transparency. Only radical transparency can save us. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you what that might mean digitally. Everybody is afraid of the government seizing all of our information. As well, we should be, in one sense, of the government seizing our information, unless the government were just. And we say to ourselves, we hate politicians, but wait. Politics has been transformed from the rule of the king to the rule of the people. The government itself is a reflection of us. If we distrust the government, that means we both distrust our neighbor and we distrust ourselves. Trust is a little bit like a faith-based issue. I feel like the easiest path to trust is that humans suck and humans are the best things of all things that suck, right? The world is a tough world. People revere nature, you know. We think of Whitman, we think of Henry David Thoreau, all that shit. But, and I know when you're in a colloquial critique, when you're in conversation, I know when you're battling or discussing or debating points, arguments. I know when you're doing that, you shouldn't necessarily, people don't talk about this much. It's, yeah, people don't talk about it much, but you shouldn't say the word but. You should express the term, my, I understand your point. My concern is. You shouldn't say but. Right. But that misunderstands, like, because there's diction and then there's like affectation, affectation, the affect of the way in which you pronounce the word but, or you could say but. Those are two different expressions, same diction, kind of. You can say but, or you can say but y'all motherfuckers, or you could say but. On the other hand, right? In one way, that's the same expression. In another way, those are totally different expressions. It's the song, it's the timbre, it's the temperament, it's the temper, it's the tempered. It's so funny that angriness is expressed by the word temper, and patience and reverence and temperance, temper, temperance. Well, that's a word and a definition unto itself. What I was going to say was tempered. That's so interesting. Temperance. And it's not an S, temperance. It's a CE. Oh, wait, what? So now we're tying in the visual. The combination between like the visual temper temperance, tempered, right? Temperament, the heat of the mind. Temper, hot. Temperance, cool. Tempered, room temperature. So the second thing I wanted to talk about was radical transparency. Pretty much what we have to do, and it's actually not as big a step as you think. The thing we have to do is, like, everything we do, and it really is transactional. Everything we do needs to be recorded and open for everyone to see. Everything we do at work, everything we do at home. We are always online. We are always on camera. This is how we become like God. This is not how we become gods in an futile effort to like become or usurp the true God of gods. But it's not our job to become God. It is our job to become like God. And we all fall short. It's such a nuanced little puzzle. It's the big puzzle and the little puzzle. We will never be God. But it is our job to become like God. Like God? Well, how dare you? No. I didn't say to become God. That's blasphemy. But to become like God. The second beneath the first. That's it. It's that simple. And that's not deism, because Christ did it best. No one will ever do it better than Christ. There's one exception of one who may do it right up to Christ, and that is the doeling that cometh, Doeling, the female baby goat who comes from Islam. Yeah, no. I already know. She's already an asteroid just flying straight for us. Selfishly, I hope I'll be here to see it, but I know I won't be. You lucky motherfuckers when she comes. And there won't be that many of you at first who know she's here. Mahsa Amini of Iran. She was the first meteorite. A meteoric army of women will break the way before her. Masa Amini was the first. And then there's that beautiful song by that man, that young man who sang that song that was the worldwide cry for Masa Amini. I can't remember the name of it right now. Maybe I'll annotate it later, but you can just look it up. The anthem of Masa Amini. Even though Masa Amini was her, like, quote unquote, Iranian name or Phoenician name, maybe, I don't know, Farsi name. But she also had I forget, because that young woman we call Masa Amini, her birth name was a different name in a different language, because there's that culture that exists, like it's like half in Iran. I can't remember the other country, Middle Eastern country it's half in, but I feel like saying Kazakhstan, but I feel like that might be wrong. I feel like it starts with a K though. I'm terrible. Oh yeah, all I wanted to say was radical transparency. Because if we all knew everything that everyone does, every little thing, like, we'd find that all these people that we pass in the drugstore or the convenience store, we'd be like, oh my God, look at what this guy does for real in his life. Like, every receipt, everything you buy, every charity you don't, like, total absolute 100% transparency. Like, every single thing you look up, like, video of your whole life, but it actually can't be done because it would take more material in the world than there is to save everything. Like, we've gotten to the point where we can save so much, but, like, no matter what happens, because there's so many of us, like, our population of human beings multiplies faster than our ability to save the percentages of the things that happen. Yet, we keep creeping up on it. So no matter what happens, the greatest things that ever happen will always not be on tape. There won't be a recording. The greatest things are the rarest things. Yet, what we have found is there are more great things than we, like, for people like me who were born in the analog age and have progressed to the like, I'm not just in the digital age, I'm entering the hyper digital age, right? It truly is a millennial shift, right? So it's like, if you disbelieve in God, like, this should be the end. Like, astrology is real. How do we know astrology is real? Two reasons. There are two reasons we know astrology is real, right? And I'm not that big into astrology, but I pay a little bit. Like, I know Aries is March, stuff like that. And in astrology, March is the first month of the year, and that's the head, and Pisces is the feet, and the head touch the feet. Say, oh, that's some kind of archaic thing, blah, blah, blah. But let me ask you this. If you're 85 years old and you can touch your head to your feet, how long will you live? Right. If you can touch your head with your feet when you're 85 years old, how long will you live? But if you're 45 years old and you can't even touch your own feet with your hands, how long will you live? Right? Anyway, that's just a parenthetical comment. I was gonna say side note, but it's not even that. It's a parenthetical. A subtle distinction. Whatever. Fuck off. But yeah, radical transparency. It would force every individual to be honest with themselves, and it would force everyone to be honest with each other at the same time as we are being honest with ourselves. So, if I knew everything you looked up and you knew everything I looked up, it would be weird because we'd find all these guys who are all put together looking, who are looking up all this degenerate shit all the time. And we'd find all these disheveled so-called ingrates that are looking up all this interesting and like important, beautiful stuff all the time. And all of a sudden we'd see the world in a new way. But the thing is, in order for radical transparency, it's this surrender, And I guess Islam is the champion of surrender because they talk about surrender and it's all about surrender. And I think the only problem with that is that it's like surrendering to Muhammad. But no, surrender to God. Muhammad had to do what Muhammad had to do when Muhammad had to do it. And in some way, Muhammad was like, whatever. Everybody riffs on it, so like, don't hate me for it. I'm not slamming anything. I'm looking at Abraham. So like, if you're gonna condemn me for like, I'm not criticizing. I'm critiquing. I'm looking at it from my perspective. It's just a perspective. I'm trying to be honest. Like, here's what I see. That's all. I'm trying to be honest and open. And it's like the tension between, like, because there's Abraham, right? Muhammad is not greater than Abraham. I'm sorry. And like, I'm sorry to the Mohammedans. I prefer that word, and I use it respectfully. Because I think Pascal, mathematically, like the greatest attributes, to my mind, of the Islamic tradition is the great mathematics of, I actually don't even know when it was, but like North Africa, Southwest Europe, a while back. Algebra. Yeah, because Muhammad was like, one person, it's like, yeah, one person who inside Isaac and Ishmael were fighting with. Like, I know he said he was the last prophet, or it has been said about him, or at least that's what I've heard from my perspective. I'm hardly a scholar. Hardly a, yeah. From my perspective, I believe he was the first or the last prophet of the Old Testament, because I don't believe it went Old Testament, click, New Testament. I believe it's more like a river. And I believe the Old Testament and the New Testament are both still in play. And then I think there will come a time when the Old Testament is no longer, like, there will come a time when God revokes some of the rules of the Old Testament, like forever. There is an end to the Old Testament. But even as there's the Old Testament and the New Testament, the Third Testament is being written, so there are already new rules of God. It's slippery. It doesn't just go one, it doesn't just go Old Testament, New Testament, Third Testament, First Testament, Second Testament, Third Testament. It doesn't just go like that. It's these ascending interference waveforms that hump up. They overlap in funny ways. And yeah. So I just wanted to document that. I have way more to say. And I don't want to do this right now. But I'm going to try to do this right now. Because I've tried it twice and failed. I might fail this time. That's the thing. I never know when I'll succeed. A new way of multiplication. That's pretty awesome. There are so few people in the world who would ever appreciate this. But if you are that person, it's all for you. It would have been so useful so many years ago. Too little, too late. But maybe not. I love it because it's beautiful in its own way. 142 pages of perfection. 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 Infinite. 142 pages of infinite precision. One of the greatest mathematical calculations of all time. I only say that because I don't understand other mathematical calculations. Tedious. Boring as hell. But this new way of multiplying is a little bit more interesting. I will try to explain why. Next time. But I will give you a teaser dedicated to Dallas Jenkins, the greatest teaser of all time. All right, so what I'm calculating is this right here. So there's this number, like this is a number. It looks like a lot of numbers, but this right here is a number. This right here is a number. And this right here is a number. So I did this calculation right here, which is represented by this right here, which looks like a lot of work, but it was actually really easy because it's all just tic-tac-toe shit. It's all just like bloop, 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 bloop. It's like playing Tetris. It's just like put this here, put this here, put this here. It's way easier for me than doing it another way. This is the easiest way. And that's actually really funny. Like, let's see if we can get it. This number right here, so this number is represented right here. And there's plenty of people who could calculate that. No problem. Just millions of people. Multiple tens of millions of people could deal with this number, no problem. No problem. They're like kids, people in high school, like freshmen, sophomores in college, no problem, piece of cake. But if you're not familiar with it, it looks like wacky, but it's not. And this over here is the way I chose to deal with it. And I think that's kind of nice. Like this little bit of symbolism in numbers and in conventions, and like mathematics has a lingua. Mathematics has like these conventions. Mathematics has linguistics. And different mathematical systems, theories, blah, 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 have different linguistics and language. And linguistics have become important, like even in the political realm, which is unfortunate. The current day attacks on political language are very, very obtuse. They are not sophisticated. They are not well researched. So many theories of the modern day are built on histories that are paper thin, wafer thin, tissue paper thin. Terrible, my opinion. But anyway, so I just think it's interesting. Maybe some of you will think it's interesting. This little clump of numbers here is calculated here and reduces upon this number, which is this number. So for this number and this number, I will have to do similar calculations, which will fill out the rest of this page, which will give me 3 more numbers, which will be which when I sum will be the numerator, and then there'll be a line, and the denominator, and that will, well, it will equal mu zeta. It'll equal root 3 over 3. First, it will equal the square root of 1 over 3, and if you rationalize the number, some people like that, some people don't, and it actually is a difference. Like, we call it rationalizing the number by making it root 3 over 3 and discounting 1 over root 3, and in some way they're the same, and in some way they're different, in the same way that 2 times 2 equals 4 and 4 times 1 equals 4. Like, they're the same, but they're different. Equal doesn't mean like congruent or is. Is a very powerful mathematical term. My understanding is that like an equal sign has two parallel lines, and it's interesting that two parallel lines means equal, so you should think about that. And you know, two parallel lines up and down means parallel. Two parallel lines side by side means equal, you know. But parallel most of the time, not all of the time, 97% of the time, parallel means like two lines that never touch in a plane, right? But there are also two lines that never touch in three-dimensional space. Any two lines that don't touch in three-dimensional space can be oriented such that in a two-dimensional view of those two lines, they look like parallel lines in a plane. So stuff that up your fucking fifth postulate, motherfucker. And fuck you, Poincaré. Poincaré, you fucking... Years back, no one, people talk about Wolfram for this, Wolfram for that, but I remember watching this Wolfram animation, Wolfram Mathematica animation from years and years and years ago, showing how Euclidean geometry and projective geometry and Poincarian geometry all line up in a perfect fucking cone. Poincaré ripped off like the projective geometry of like, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, 100 years ago, like somewhere between there. He like ripped it off, and you know, never mind Apollonius, never mind fucking Norman J. Wildberger. I hate Poincaré. Poincaré sucks. Flat Earth motherfucker. I might be wrong. I'm too opinionated. I'm definitely too opinionated. But anyway, what I wanted to show about this video, or what I wanted to do, and now I'm not going to do it because obviously I've gone way too far. Way too far. Well, that's not going to stop me. I'll get to it next time. Is I want to show how I do this, and I want to show why it's easier, even though it doesn't look easier. Multiplication. Like my assertion is that for some people, and certainly for me, this is an easier form of multiplication, even though it looks harder. It looks harder, but it's actually easier, because instead of going like, and it looks all neat when you're done, but you're sitting there going, and your eyes are going like, and then here to here, and carry the one, and the this plus this plus this plus this plus this, carry the 7 plus this plus this. Like if you're multiplying larger numbers, larger meaning like greater than like 8 digits or whatever, like this times this, and then you got to add them all up, and your eyes are just like, your eyes are going all over the place. But if you do it like this, right? If you do multiplication of big numbers like the regular way, your hand barely moves, but your eyes are moving all over the place, which seems more efficient, right? Because it seems like it would take less energy to move your hand than it does to move your eye. As it so happens, it takes more energy to move your eye than it does to move your hand. Because when you do it like this, your eyes don't have to go zigzag, zigzag, up, down, zigzag, up, down, zigzag, up, down, 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 plus, up, down, this. If you do it like this, you really only need to go like boop, 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 boop. It just spreads out. Instead of going like this number times this number, right? Because if you're doing normal multiplications, like you got this number times this number, and you're like, but your eyes going like boop 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 and boop 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 like boop 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 boop. If you're doing regular multiplication of kind of large numbers, 8 digits, 10 digits, 20 digits, whatever. But if you do it like this, you just got to write the number. Like if you're squaring a number, you just have to write the number one way, the number another way, and then you just have to go. Your eyes only have to go like do, like your eyes don't have to move as much. Your hand moves more, but your eyes don't have to move as much. So your brain isn't as tired. And the only reason I know this is true, like this is actually science, motherfucker. How about this for science? Is because page 129. That's the last time I did this. Page 129. Where is it? Yeah, so like this isn't even that big of a number. 2,810,279 squared, right? So it's that number times itself, 2,810,279 squared. Like if you just look at it as a list of numbers, yeah, it looks more neat, but I am not a computer. I'm a human being. And for me to make that look neat, my eyes have to move all over the place trying to do this fucking thing. It looks neat, it looks ordered, but it's not. Because my eyes are going wild. Remember, page 132 is important. And then I thought to myself, I've seen those videos of people doing like, because you can cross numbers against each other. Like you can cross line, like if a number is like 123 times 123, you can make a line, one line, then two lines, then three lines, and then you can make one line and two lines and three lines, and then you can add up the diagonals and take that number, and it's the number, you know. But when you get into big numbers, you can't use lines, that's too much. And then I realized you can just use whatever base system you want to use. I want to use base 10. I'm mildly familiar with base 12. I'm mildly familiar with base 60. And besides that, I'm peripherally familiar with every other base system up to not quite up to 100. And then I realized you could just do it this way with using numbers instead of this, and it still works the same way. And you just carry the digits in a different way. But it looks like it's more steps because your hand moves more. And I guess there's no reason to create the grid if you're precise enough with where you put your numbers. But turns out moving your hand takes less energy than moving your eyes. In some cases, moving your hand takes less energy than moving your eyes. That's a remarkable innovation that should be appreciated in and of itself. I will take note of it. I should always remind myself to take my own advice. I never do. I truly am a horrible person. But God has kept me in the world of the living, which means I am not done. Even if I am terrible, one could say, I don't, but one could say that Pharaoh was the worst, aka God hardened Pharaoh's heart. What Pharaoh? People argue about it to this day. I have my opinion. My opinion that Pharaoh was Amenhotep III. Some people say Ramses. Some people say, what is it, Smenkhare or something like that. Keperure.